Porsche is such a beautiful product. It's easy to fall in love with. One of the many reasons they've been so successful is the romance. It fuels passion. My name is Keith Martin, and I fix cars. I grew up around Volkswagens, and that translated very quickly into Porsche and other German cars, and I have made a career of what I love to do, fixing German cars. I was the kid that fixed the other kids' bicycles, so that translated to cars before I was driving. I had a hand-me-down 61 Volkswagen Bug that had serious needs, and I had it ready to go by the time I was ready to drive. Volkswagen had a magnificent ad campaign in the 60s and 70s where they would take a car and disassemble it and lay it out piece by piece by piece and photograph it. That just struck a chord with me. That has been my entire life. I can visualize, take things apart, put them back together. I was 19 years old, and I spotted this car in the weeds. And the weeds were grown up to the tops of the doors, and all I could see was the roof line. So I found the owner and bought the car for a ridiculous sum of money then, and carried it home. It was just flat worn out, and every aspect of it was just shot. It was a Flintstone car. You could see through the floorboard. Early on in the process, I was acquiring parts for this car and researching the numbers on it, trying to come to grips with what it was going to take to restore it. Early on, I found that the chassis number just didn't fit in any of the VIN decoders. In the parts books I went to, it just didn't make sense. It was obvious to me early on that it was a unique, very early production car. In 1973, nobody cared. It just didn't matter. It was the first generation car with all the mistakes, all the bad stuff. The car was really obsolete. It was unwanted 40 years ago. Anybody that would attempt a full restoration on a car like this is out of their mind. No one has all the skill sets that you need to do a restoration like this. It takes a team of people. This car is important historically. It's one of the very first production cars. The amount of time that I've had it was the second longest of all the cars in existence. I know how this car should have been. It is a car that others are measured by. Without getting too philosophical, I feel like I've done a good job. I've been a good steward of this piece of history. If you've got a special car, you need to take it to California and measure it out there. So I took it out there 2 years ago and won 2 shows with it. It's nice to have that in my pocket. You can't imagine how satisfying it is to drive this car. I really can't tell you how satisfying it is. It's magic. Most cars that have gone through restoration, they look great, they won't start, they won't drive, they won't stop. They're awful to drive. This thing drives like it's brand new. Why? Because I had every nut and screw off of it replaced every rubber bushing in the thing, every component, and it is a new car. It's a new 64 911. I do not have a master plan for what happens next. So by default, yes, I'm just going to keep it and enjoy it and show it to folks when I have the opportunity, and an occasional show here or there. For the moment, I'll just preserve it, protect it, be a good steward of it, and work on the other 64 911 that I have.